pasteur Rejouis et avec tout le comité l'église et tout l'autre monde. Merci en pile parce que nous acceptons pour nous venir là, pour nous venir bonne information que vous avez besoin. Peut-être que vous n'avez pas besoin pour tête, mais vous avez besoin quand même pour un voisin, un petit, un monde quelconque. Mais espérez qu'après-midi, information que vous allez recevoir et information sera capable d'aider et pour capable continuer à faire route là parce que nous tous nous c'est immigrants qui viennent là et nous connaissons nous c'est immigrants comment ça y est. Ou même on ne doit pas connaître mon travail, moi qui j'en sais. Alors c'est ça que fait nous inviter immigration. Mais c'est pas immigration, alors immigration, mais c'est Dr. Dunn, Joel. Did I say it right?
Yeah, but I'm not a doctor.
You're not a doctor. Right? It's not a doctor. In this place right now, he's not a doctor. Okay, so he's not a doctor. Period. Okay. So thank you for coming, and thank you for allow us to. Thank you for accept to come, let's say it this way, because when I sent you the invitation, and I know it was take a while, but it come to you anyway, I meant that I'm supposed to be coming, and you accept, especially on Sunday. Boy, I know that's your weekend off, but you use it anyway to come. So thank you. And I just want to say thank you to your boss who accept that. And I appreciate it. I appreciate it, and all the community here is appreciate everybody here appreciate everything that is happening. And thank you, thank you. Nous allons commencer. So basically, you can go ahead and start it. But I'm going to be flipped like off and on because I also have a Facebook Live. I have to go back and look the question people ask so I can come to you and talk to you. And I'm going to have someone else is here to help me out. Eltonia là? Eltonia là? Eltonia là. Faut que vous venez aider nous parce que nous besoin d'aide. L'important c'est que nous avons une communauté qui travaille. OK, même si nous-mêmes nous cherchons à faire recherche, c'est vrai, mais si il y a des gens qui travaillent, qui aident, nous-mêmes c'est ça nous là pour nous faire ce travail ensemble. Nous connaissons Haitian Organisation Network Plus, c'est une organisation qui n'entend pas, nous avons 16 ans depuis nous là. Nous avons 16 ans tout depuis nous avons aidé les gens. Ça qui arrive, je beaucoup de gens arrivent sur mon pour là, ou bien beaucoup de gens arrivent sur pour m'aider, mais il y a un pile dans la communauté qui a des témoignages de aide que moi bail à travers des façons que j'en traduit pour eux, des gens qui étaient en prison que moi aider, pas besoin de citer dans monde parce que est supposé privé, OK? Moi aider moun yo sorti en prison, là yo a sorti Chili, yo chercher avocat pour yo capable venir là, pour yo ka sorti de yo, pour yo joindre liberté yo. Alors, this is Eltonia Noel.
Nice to meet you.
By the way, she can just look at you and make your picture. Right there, she can draw your picture out.
Okay.
I just to make people laugh, all right? All right, les amis, on va remettre micro avec Eltonia parce que nous avons Facebook Live. Je salue tous les amis qui sont dans Facebook, tout le monde qui est dans Facebook, la Gonaf, tout côté que où y est, moi salue. Et merci parce qu'on est avec nous. Question que vous posez nous, Donald, c'est Donald, c'est non lui, mais il continue qui est Don, all right? Did I say it right? The nickname?
Done, yeah.
All right. C'est lui-même qui l'a, il sorti dans l'immigration directement. Il c'est on parle by tête li so même besoin parler. All right, let me just let you introduce yourself. All right. It's your time.
Okay. Good afternoon. Are we morning? We're afternoon. Long week. My name is Don Gerald. I am a community relations officer with U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services Tampa District. And I'm here to talk to you today about the process. The official word is the process for Cubans, Haitians, Nicaraguans, and Venezuelans. I just say process for Haitians when I'm with Haitians or process for Cubans. But what it is it's basically a process for U.S.-based supporters, people who live in the U.S., to support somebody from Haiti and bring them over here. That's it at its most basic. Oh, sorry, I forgot. I got an interpreter. I'll go in small bites.
Bon Dieu béni nous. Ça li dit c'est programme ça l'a expliquer nous après-midi. C'est programme ça l'a expliquer nous après-midi c'est processus pour nous-mêmes qui vivent ici, dans les États-Unis, qui supporter un monde qui est Haïti, qui veut mener venir ici.
So what I'll do is I'll give you a brief overview. It's not going to be long. I won't bore you to death with a PowerPoint, but I'll just walk you through the steps of the process, and then afterwards I'll stick around and I'll answer any questions that you have.
So ça la fait, la font bref explication avec nous, la bonne étape qui pour nous faire, pour nous commencer avec l'application aussi processus là.
The only questions I can't answer, and I'll let you know in advance, because usually somebody asks this, I can't answer case-specific questions. So if you ask me, I filed an application 3 months ago, where is it? I'm not going to be able to tell you because I don't have access to personal information and computers. I only deal with public information.
Okay, so réponse que li pa ka ba nou, comme si nous avons une question qui demande question spécifique avec application à faire. So si vous demandez ou dit comme ça, ou une application ou fil, ou pas que une réponse, ou ta remet connaît qui ça qu'a fait avec application, lui même li pas ka répondre. Parce qu'il pas gain information devant lui là avec lui.
Okay, I'm ready for the PowerPoint. Yeah.
So ça n'a pas là c'est un PowerPoint qu'il a montré nous.
Or not, I can just start. So the process starts with a US-based supporter. So who can be a supporter?
Process a commencé avec un monde qui est États-Unis qui a supporté un autre monde.
Well, the umbrella is broad. Basically, anyone can be a supporter. Anyone in the US who has lawful status, so that's a US citizen or a green card holder or somebody who has TPS, temporary protective status.
So monde qui a qualifié pour supporter un monde, c'est un monde qui gagne un statut qui légal. Ça veut dire sous citizen, sous green card, yeah, résidence avec un monde qui gagne papier légal TPS.
So, and basically, if you can see in the box, I don't know if you can read that, but again, it's not just US citizens and green card holders, it's people who've been granted asylum or refugee status can also be a supporter.
Dans boîte là, par contre si nous calé li, pas supporter un monde qui ici.
Well, sorry, I'm going to pull the PowerPoint up on my phone, that way I'll at least know where I'm going. Okay, great. So, for the beneficiary, the Haitian national, to be eligible, one, they have to have, obviously, someone in the U.S. to support them.
Moun ka bénéficier, yon bagay ke li ta supposé gen c'est yon moun ki États-Unis qui ka supporter yo.
Then, of course, we're going to do the security screening and background check, so, you know, the fingerprints and the photos.
Et for yo faire bagay sécurité comme si pour yo prendre point tout, pour yo faire photo, pour yo faire bagay sécurité.
They're going to have to complete vaccination attestations, so they're going to have to, you know, basically show that they've had all the vaccines that are required.
Et faut yo ka montrer que yo gen tout vaccin qui nécessaire pour yo ka entrer tout.
They have to have a valid, unexpired passport, so they have to have a Haitian passport to be able to come.
Faut yo gen un passeport haïtien qui valable, qui pas expiré.
Oh, thank you. And then they have to provide their own air travel, so they have to find their way to the U.S. on their own, so they have to get their own plane ticket.
Et faut yo ka payer pour vol yo pour yo venir ici tout.
Very important to note, people who cannot apply for this or who can't be beneficiaries, the most important one is unaccompanied child. So a child, you can't support a child on their own. They can't travel to the U.S. on their own. They're going to have to travel with their parents or a legal guardian. But this has happened with Ukrainians. They've attempted to have the children come over on their own. They're not going to be able to enter the United States. It's going to cause a big headache and a problem. So very important to note, if there's a child that you're wishing to bring to the United States, under this program, they must travel with either their parents or a legal guardian.
So avec programme ça, moun qui pas ka bénéficier, c'est timoun. So si timoun sou ta vle entrer en timoun, faut que li ta gen parent ni avec li. Yon problème qui passe c'est avec moun Ukraine, li ba exemple ça. Moun Ukraine a essayé voyer timoun pa yo en bas programme ça et c'est un gros tête fait mal lié.
And when I say legal guardian, what I mean is someone who has been recognized by a court to be their guardian. It can't be, you know, my auntie bringing me over. Oh, this is my nephew. There has to be a court document saying that they have legal guardianship status for that child.
Et si c'est pas ta parent, faut que c'est un monde qui gardien ni comme si qui gagne papier la loi qui montre que ti moun nan c'est sous compte moun sa li. Ou pas ka di comme ça OK, ti moun nan vini ça avec ma tante li a vini ça tonton ni cousine ni. Yeah. So faut gen preuve que c'est ou qui responsable ti moun nan.
So ça veut dire exactement faut qu'on juge qui pour signer. Faut qu'il y ait un juge qui pour signer un papier ça. OK, pas seulement comme si les sorti dans le tribunal là, mais juge là même dit oui, ti moun sa ka voyager, oui c'est lui même ou même qui reconnaît lui, oui c'est ou même qui gardien ti moun sa. Pas on prend on voyer venir à ma tante à tonton non, il pas rentrer. So ça important.
Okay. And then one thing to note with this program is that it's actually being administered by 2 different agencies.
Yon bagay pour noter avec programme ça, c'est des agences qui fait li.
So our role, the USCIS role, is focused on the supporter. So we're going to be looking at the US-based supporter. We're going to do the background checks, and we're going to determine whether or not they have the financial means to care for the beneficiaries once they come to the country.
Pour rôle USCIS là, ça a fait c'est background check comme si y a checké sous capable sous qualifié pour supporter moun nan. Y a regardé pour ouais comme si sous gain y a financièrement sous gain capacité pour supporter moun nan.
And then the second agency that's involved is CBP, or Customs and Border Protection. They're going to be looking at the beneficiary, the Haitian national. So they're going to be doing the background checks on the person from Haiti, and they're going to be the ones that the Haitian encounters at the airport. So that's who the beneficiary is going to be dealing with, CBP.
So l'autre partie organisation comme si qui pour qui cap l'autre partie cap aider avec un bas programme ça, c'est CBP. Même cap gérer affaire comme si monde qui dans l'autre bon ça monde qui pas États-Unis donc dans cap à nous haïtiens ça veut dire y a si au Caribbean ici y a gérer bagay qui dans airport yo bagay ça.
Next slide, please. Okay, so when we look at financial suitability on the supporter side, we're not looking, there's no like black and white line. So we're not looking at, what we would do with the green card situation. We're not looking at the federal poverty income guidelines. We refer to it, but every case is going to be individual. So there's no hard and fast rule as to what's going to be acceptable.
So pour rôle supporter, les y a checké sous qualifié financièrement, yo pas garder ligne pauvreté fédérale là. Ça veut dire y a yeah, ça veut dire cas par cas.
And it's also important to note that people can join together and be multiple supporters. So if you have a group of 5 people that want to support someone coming from Haiti, that's perfectly acceptable. You can join together, you can join your finances together and support someone as a group.
Ou ka mette ensemble avec plusieurs moun pour supporter un moun k'ap vini. Ça veut dire nous 5 là, nous 6 là, un groupe nous ka supporter un moun.
But it's important to note that even though you can join together as a group to support someone, only one person is actually signing off on the application. So one person has to take the responsibility. So what they would do in that, oh, I'm sorry.
L'important pour connaître, nous tout là qui mettre ensemble pour nous supporter un monde, mais c'est un seul monde qui a signé pour monde nan pour responsable monde nan.
So what you would do in that situation is whoever is filling out the form I-134 is what you're going to use, who's ever filling out that form, they would sign it, and then they would also attach an explanation. I am the person signing off on the application. However, you know, Robert, Mary, Julie are joining me, and they would list the multiple supporters.
So nan cas ça si c'est ou même qui file pour forme I-134 là. Ça a fait ou signé que c'est ou même qui responsable moun nan, mais ou gagne 1 2 3 4 5 ou dit qui valait moun ou gagne ou doter non moun avec supporter moun nan. Mais c'est ou même qui prend responsabilité moun nan.
And this is, by the way, this is all done online. You can't do it by paper. It has to be done online. So if there is some strip mall notary public telling you can do it by paper and they're asking you for money, no, run away. You can't. It has to be done online, and it's completely free. There's no fee for filing this application.
So programme ça gratis, c'est online seulement y a fait. So si vous gon côté cap du ça venir, y a fili pour, y a plein pour dans papier, déjà connaît moun ça voler la voler. Et c'est online seulement qu'a fait et li gratis.
So what you have to do is you have to go to the website uscis.gov and create an account. It's like anything else on the web. You know, you create a username and a password, and then once you create the account, you can file the application electronically online.
So wap monter sur site là ISCIS, et puis tu wap créer un compte, et puis tu plein application sur lui-même. Ça veut dire wap mettre un username, wap mettre mot de passe, et puis tu commencer filer plein papier.
And also too important to note, I wish it wasn't this way, but whoever set it up this way. You have to do a separate application for each person that you want to bring to the United States. So if you have a family, you can't do an application for one family and list the family on the application. You have to do it for mom, dad, brother, sister, brother, you know, you have to do it for each individual member.
Yon bagay qui est important pour nous noter, c'est valeur moun wap entrer, même si sont familiers, faut faire une application qui sépare pour chaque grand monde. Si c'est maman, papa, petit, tonton, frère, sœur, chaque grand monde a une application par eux.
And then what happens after that is you submit the form electronically. We start doing our process of vetting you. While that's happening, an account is going to be created for the beneficiary, and they're going to receive an email with instructions on what they need to do next.
Okay, so ça y a fait tout, c'est leur fin plein application. Il a envoyé un email by mon bénéficiaire, so mon wa fil pour lui. Après tout, il y a dans email là, il y a pour qui ça pour faire, qui j'en pour.
So what they'll have to do is, once they get that confirmation email, is they'll have to create their own account, USCIS account, and then they're going to, oh, can you go back one still? I'm sorry. Yeah, they're going to create their account, and they're going to enter in all their information, you know, their name, their date of birth, who's traveling with them, all the information that's asked of them on the form, they will do on their end.
Le moun nan joine email là, ça la fait lui-même, c'est la plein portion par là. Ça veut dire la mette nom ni date li fait, numéro passeport li côté li fait, et puis adresse côté li rete.
And what's very important in all of this is, well, it's always very important whenever you're dealing with the government in general, is you have to be very precise. But with this process, we've learned through the Ukrainians that you have to really be careful when you're submitting these applications. So double check it, triple check it before you give it to us, because if you make mistakes on things like passport numbers, you get one number off, or you get a date of birth off. Normally, with a regular green card application, that causes delays and headaches. With this process, it could stop the process altogether, and you would have to start over. Because if you get like a wrong passport number in the account, and then you go to the airport with CBP, I don't know if you've dealt with CBP, but they're not the friendlier side of immigration. So it's very important when you fill out these applications, both the US-based supporter and the beneficiary need to make sure that information is correct, because if you make a mistake, it's going to be almost impossible to fix it.
Yon yon bagay qui très important, c'est là où appelé application là avant voyer vérifier que tout bagay OK. Parce que sous chité comme si nan yon numéro de passeport, ça ka camper tout bagay. Moun nan gen droit lan puis tout numéro te mette pour passeport, c'est pas numéro ça sous passeport moun nan et puis tout moun nan même ça a fini pour il faut recommencer processus là encore. So avant voyer un bagay, avant voyer application aller, vérifier que tout bagay bon ni pour bon parlant ni pour bon pas moun nan.
And believe it or not, it starts with the email. So if you're the US-based supporter, make sure that the beneficiary has a working email, because that's happened where they've entered in all the information, they filed the application, but then the beneficiary, they had the wrong email, and the beneficiary never got the information, so they couldn't continue.
Et premier côté pour ta vérifier c'est email ou même ou mettre pour moun qui bénéficiaire. Ça veut dire problème qui qu'on arrive c'est email ou mettre li gen doit pas email moun nan et puis tout moun nan pas jamais recevoir email ça yo ta supposé joindre pour vérifier.
Okay, you can go to the next one. Okay, and this is the step 3 of the process. Once the beneficiary enters in their information and they submit everything on their end, they're also going to have to register with Customs and Border Protection through the CBP mobile app. They will get instructions via email on how to register, but they can't forget this step because a lot of people think, oh, once I give them my name, my date of birth, I'm set. No, after they submit it through us, they're going to get an email to register with CBP, which they need to do.
So troisième étape là, c'est l'offre submettre application, bénéficiaire a joindre un email avec ça pour faire. Et une bagage la faire c'est là créer un compte avec CBP, ça veut dire monde qui relation border. So ça fait faut yo mettre information yo, y a mettre date yo fait, nom yo, bagage ça yo et puis tout yo ka continuer et puis y a toujours un email pour qui ça pour yo faire comme si y a bail étape.
Okay, you can go to the next slide. Okay, so after they've gone through all their steps, they've given us their information, they've registered with CBP. CBP will determine whether or not they're eligible to come to the United States. And the beneficiary will know either way. They'll either get a yes or a no from CBP.
Là yo fin fait portion pa yo, là yo fin mettre toute information yo bénéficiaire, ça veut dire moun ou apese entrer la connaît si yo dit oui ou si yo dit non. Parce qu'il a fait le compte ça tout de suite.
And it's important to remember that this information is for the beneficiary only due to privacy reasons. So the beneficiary is going to know whether or not they've received approval. The US-based supporter is not going to get any of that information. They won't know whether it's been accepted or not. Only the beneficiary.
Information ça c'est pour bénéficiaire seulement, ça veut dire moun ou apese entrer. C'est lui-même qui a besoin d'information ça. Ou même qui apese entrer là ou pas besoin d'information ça parce que ça c'est une information privée qui est liée.
And then once they get that notification from the CBP that says, yes, you're okay to come, they'll have 90 days to come to the United States.
Là yo fin une confirmation qui dit comme ça oui yo capable venir ici, y a bien carrément 10 jours pour yo entrer aux États-Unis.
Oh, you can go to the next slide, thanks. Okay, yeah, and the medical screening. The beneficiary has to attest that they've received vaccinations. However, if they haven't completed all of their vaccinations, it will be okay. Once they come to the United States, within 90 days, if they're missing any vaccinations or any kind of TB screening, they have 90 days in which to do that.
Okay, so yon nan bagay yo ta supposé gen médicalement, yo ta supposé gen tout vérifier que yo gen tout vaccin yo.
I'm sorry?
Si yo pas ta gen tout vaccin yo, li okay. Mais
They don't have
là
to
yo
pay
arrivé
anything to
ici,
us,
si yo ta
but
arrivé
I'm
ici,
probably going
yo
to.
gen carrément 10 jours pour yo prendre tout vaccin que yo pas ta gen ta kou TB bagay ça yo.
Next slide. You probably can't read these, but this is a list of resources. This says Venezuela because we're doing Venezuela too. But just note that if you have any questions about the process, just Google USCIS Haiti, and that will bring you up to the pages on our website that deal with TPS and with this process, and that will have the information for you.
Si vous avez aucune question ou si vous cherchez information pour processus ça, en y mettez USCIS Haiti, Haiti. Et puis, tout bagay, si ou besoin information, comme tu vas chercher information sur programme ça, ou aller sur USCIS Haïti et puis tout bagay TPS a monter et tout bagay programme ça a monter et puis tu vas chercher so gen besoin non sur site ça.
And I'll share those links with you that you can distribute out to people.
Et la partager les avec nous pour le cas distribuer.
And this is a different presentation. So that's it. I told you I wouldn't bore you with a long PowerPoint presentation, but the gist of it is it boils down to 3 steps. Step 1, US-based supporter files the application.
Première étape là, c'est mon ici, États-Unis, file application pour bénéficier mon haïtien.
Step 2, the beneficiary, the Haitian national, gives us their information. So they complete the application on their end.
Deuxième étape là, c'est haïtien, mon qui haïtien, a signé pour lui bailler information parler avec gouvernement.
And then step 3, the beneficiary registers with CBP through that mobile application.
Et troisième étape, bénéficiaire, mon haïtien, a aller sur app mobile là pour lui signer pour compte là.
So it's a fairly simple process, but again, I just want to stress you're dealing with the government, so there's no room for mistakes. So it's not something you want to rush through. It's something that you want to carefully check as you submit it, because you know the government. Once you give it to us and you put it in the machine, there's no taking it back.
Programme ça c'est un programme simple lié, mais on connaît c'est avec gouvernement ou ou observer avec gouvernement n'importe qui bagarre ou ta échoué là dans n'importe qui erreur, il pas facile pour on changer li pour on corriger li comme ça. C'est recommencer encore.
And another thing to remember about this, people have been asking this at other events. Unfortunately, this is not a pathway to anything. It's not a pathway to a green card. It's not a pathway to citizenship. It's basically the same as if you're familiar with TPS, temporary protected status. It's parole. So it's good for 2 years, and then after 2 years they'll have to reapply. So I guess the good thing is you can get a work authorization card through this process, but you can't get a green card through this process.
So programme ça c'est pas un programme comme si cap mener ou yon côté comme si pour ta venir qualifier pour yon citizenship, pour résidence. C'est presque tant qu'on TPS lié, mais c'est pour 2 ans. Après 2 ans, on peut réappliquer encore. Mais yon bagay que vous ka bénéficier là dedans c'est y a ba yo ka ba ou 4 travail.
And at this point, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Si nous t'avons aucune question.
S'il vous plaît, nous va faire un petit Jean pour pas trop comme oh, I'm sorry. Merci. Mais qui j'en appelle? OK, moun qui leve men avant, moi même m'a getan ou et puis m'a fait un moun longer micro ba ou et puis qu'on a posé question là et puis comme ça même la répondre n'a prend li youn après l'autre s'il vous plaît, OK? Faut me laisser getan leve men avant. Attendez, frère.
Que sommes nous pour aller comme ça. Nous connaissons en Haïti dans un moment là très difficile pour un monde de cocher ton passeport.
Okay, so we know right now in Haiti, it is very difficult. We're in a difficult situation where it is nearly impossible for someone to receive a passport or to even go through the process of getting a passport.
Dans l'application alors fili yo mando capable bail première page passeport et puis ça capable permettre qu'on fait application mais si ou approuvé donc ou bien 90 jours pour quitter pays donc qui ça yo capable faire ou donc qui ça moun nan ka faire ou donc qui ça gouvernement américain capable faire pour permettre que moun ça qui qualifié ta capable rentrer dans pays soit avec passeport là ou donc même moun qui gen passeport qui expiré tout.
Okay, so for the application process, they did say that you can use the first page. If you receive the first page, you can use that to file the application. So what happens if the person is approved and they have 90 days to enter the U.S., but they haven't received a physical copy of the passport. So what can the U.S. government do, or what, and if the person may have an expired passport, what can be done about that?
No, it's a great question. It's a good question, and I don't think it's something it's been very well thought through. So I guess what I want to do, I don't want to answer that one off the top of my head. Let me research that, and then I'll answer you and get back to you. Because as of right now, the way it's written, you have to have that passport. But as far as exceptions or the first page, I'll have to find out. And I wish I knew that off the top of my head, but I do not. No.
Li pa vle ba nou n'importe réponse, so ça la fait, li pa le faire recherche, et puis tout la ba service ni information puis tout li ka ba nou information.
I'm just making a note to
Ka
myself.
la
so-
avec nous. La prendre note ça.
Okay, so nous avons un gentleman there, net, s'il vous plaît. Il te lève même déjà. Après lui, c'est cela qui là. Non, mais vous êtes avec nous. Yeah, right there. Mais campé, vous qui campez, des fois vous êtes tombé lui-même, ok? Merci.
Question moi gain pour bénéficier à Haïti. Est-ce que les Allemands a placé c'est en créole ou en anglais?
His question is for the beneficiary. When they go to the app, is it in Creole or in English?
That's a good question.
It's in English.
En anglais. C'est en anglais. li.
Yeah.
Est-ce que gen yon jan yo ka fait en créole?
Is there a way for them to receive it in Creole?
Currently, no. We have asked this question of CBP to put it in multiple languages. As of now, they haven't As of now, they have not implemented it. Hoping that they will as we provide more feedback, but as of now, it's in English.
So, moun CBP yo mande yo pou yo fèl nan plusieurs langues, mais nan moment yo pa gen moyen pou yo ta fè ça.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, passe
And I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just writing all this down so I can bring it back to people.
La prendre note pour le cas. Faire recherche.
Pendant la écrit note li pour les capable porter parce que ça yo li pral porter yo aller bay superviseur et puis yo même yo pral réviser pour yo connaître qui ça yo doit faire. C'est ça qui fait li important pour connaître qui ça pour faire pour pas coller parce que m'ta remé si femme ou la vinn ou vle venir pour venir bien. OK?
OK. Bonsoir. Question maintenant naturellement. Il y a trois volets. Donc, pour me capable faire un seul campé. Premièrement, on a demandé est-ce que un citoyen portoricain qui est capable d'appliquer pour le monde? Ça veut dire que est-ce que un qui est un citoyen portoricain, un citoyen portoricain, est-ce que le capable un qui est appliqué pour le monde qui est en Haïti? Ça c'est la première phase. Hein?
Okay, for the first question, can a Puerto Rican native file for a beneficiary
Pendant qu'ils
legislation
vivent à Puerto Rico.
while
Yes.
they're living in Puerto Rico?
OK. OK.
Yes.
OK, thank you. Deuxièmement, on dit que dans la deuxième étape programme non, c'est que bénéficiaire a recevoir un email. Est-ce que avant bénéficiaire recevoir email là, si bénéficiaire a créé un compte, est-ce que y a un problème dans ça?
Okay,
S'il
so-
crée un compte là avant de recevoir email, USCIS voya.
Okay, so you said that the beneficiary has an account to make. So is there a problem if the beneficiary, will this cause a problem if the beneficiary had already created one prior to receiving the email? And if so, if they have, what can be done?
No, it should not. If they have an account already within my USCIS, it should automatically be tied in. So when the US-based supporter creates their account and does the information, the beneficiary should receive that information through their already existing account.
Ok, si vous avez déjà gagné un compte, il n'y a pas supposé un problème. Ça veut dire l'information que vous recevoir, c'est dans le compte ça vous déjà gagné, la connecté avec lui.
OK. Finalement, dernière partie de la question. Est-ce que si il y a des gens qui, par exemple, il y a des gens qui appliqué depuis janvier ou bien février, les gens n'ont pas recevoir rien, alors que il y a des gens qui appliqué en mars qui a approuvé. Donc, par exemple, il y a des gens qui appliqué en janvier, février, ils ont seulement dit que yo recevoir l'application et puis yo pas recevoir rien encore. Et qui ça qui passé dans cas ça?
Okay, so there is a case where people who have applied January, February, they only received notification that their application was received, whereas some people in March, they've been approved. What is going on with that, and how is that going to turn out for the people who filed January and February?
Again, honestly, I don't know. This program is very new. I can only surmise, or I can only guess that someone who filed in January, and if they haven't gotten approved yet, or they haven't gotten any kind of result, it has to do with something with the fingerprints. I'm just guessing. Otherwise, I don't know.
So, pour le moment, li pa konnen, ça li ka expliquer, c'est yon bagay, on a fait pour le faire avec empreinte, mais li pa konnen. Sûrement, li pa konnen. So,
we've been told that this application for Cubans, Haitians, Nicaraguans, and Venezuelans is supposed to be very quick. And for the most part it is. But again,
okay, so there are a lot of cases like this. And how can it be fingerprints if they're not even yeah.
Oh, they haven't got their fingerprints yet.
No, they haven't gotten the fingerprints. So basically what he's saying is like you submitted the application. The only notification you've received is on the person in the US. They just received that your file was received and nothing else.
Nothing else.
Nothing was submitted to the beneficiary. The beneficiary didn't get an email or anything like that.
Okay. Sorry, I misunderstood. So that's different. I'm going to have to go back and ask, because I don't know why. Because theoretically, it's supposed to be like standing in line. Once you get in line and you submit your application, they're supposed to process it. So I'm not sure what's happening with that, but yeah.
We want you to write this down and bring it to your boss, please. Next question. No, moun sa te yaman, li la debi 3h45 kanale. You want it?
Jane.
I'm sorry. Thank you. That's okay. You're fine. You gotta stand up, please. Yeah, because I want to make sure everyone knows.
Hi, hello. I'm going to ask it in English because that's probably easier for me. My question specifically is about TPS, switching gears just a little bit. When is the end for the re-registration period if you already have TPS? And what is the amount? Because I've been looking all over the USCIS website and I can't find what the re-registration amount is.
Question parlant, c'est une question pour TPS. L'État a besoin connaître qui les date expiration est pour moun qui kembe gen yon carte TPS nan moment et qui va les oublier pour réappliquer pour les.
Okay. So the re-registration period is going to run through August 3rd, 2024. So next year, August 3rd of next year.
So 3 août 2024, ça fait les pour réappliquer pour TPS.
And let me get you the fee real quick.
No, frère Malcolm.
Yeah. Question pas maintenant, c'est parce est-ce qu'elles sont obligations pour les gens qui entrent ici avec un I-94?
Nous va attendre.
Est-ce qu'elles sont obligations pour les gens qui entrent ici avec I-94, ils sont obligés de faire asile avant I-94 expire?
Okay, so his question is.
Wait. Parce que il y a écrit note pendant nous même n'a posé question, m'avait mis en rien dans sa capette là. On passe pour le cal côté tourner, l'aile tourner encore pour nous gagner réponse. D'accord avec? So please ballon petit temps, même j'en t'attends nous là pour y a bal temps pour lui mettre note là.
So I just want to get back to you real quick. The fee for TPS, which is the A21, is $50, but then you've got the biometric, the fingerprints fee, which is $85. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But then also remember, if you're filing for an employment authorization document afterwards, that's additional money.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, Guillaume on YouTube qui pose des questions. Oh, I'm sorry, Mike. All right, comme on YouTube qui pose des questions, li mandé, vous connaissez, c'est au cap traduit. Li mandé, par rapport des questions, passer d'oreille te poser, hein. côté qu'elle te dit, OK, si on moun appliqué, yo ouais pas que j'aime répondre puisque yo ouais pas jeune réponse, est-ce que yo ka réappliquer encore? Moun sa na YouTube la petite réponse ça.
So this is a question from YouTube. It's in, it coincides with the question that the pastor back there asked about the person who applied but hasn't received a response. Can they reapply? Do they reapply?
I mean, technically you could reapply, but it's going to make a duplicate application, so that might make things worse. If you're waiting and you haven't heard an answer, your best bet is probably to contact USCIS Contact Center and ask for an inquiry or initiate an inquiry. Say, you know, I filed, I've been waiting, can you please look into it? And that way internally they'll issue what they call a ticket and they'll look into it. That's probably a better bet than just trying to refile over. Because if you have duplicate applications, that's probably going to mess things up software-wise.
So, pour réponse YouTube là, il dit comme ça ou ka réappliquer mais il pas faire sens parce qu'on dupliquer application qui ka fait un problème puis devant. So ça qui t'a plus bon pour faire, c'est essayer contacter immigration et puis demander aux questions pour yo ka voyer un ticket ba ou ka gérer ça.
So, aye. Next question, mais avant nous allons question que Maclum te posée. Now, the questions that they want to really know. I know you said that they can reapply or they should not reapply. They should contact USCIS. But what about if you don't know, go to your supervisor, your group, whoever who's responsible to you? Why don't you go back and ask them, what can these people do? And you come back here and tell us what can be done instead of one person try to get to immigration. So I'm just asking that
I
in
see what
general.
you're saying. No, I'm definitely going to take back about the question about waiting, and I'll get back to you. But I'm just talking about individually on any application. If you're waiting too long and you want to get an answer, unfortunately, the government's not going to reach out to you. You have to reach out and poke the government. Yeah.
Si ou tant trop, gouvernement pas contacter ou, c'est pour contacter lui parce que c'est ou même qui a besoin. So la plus bon si ou essayer contacter lui même la fait partie par là, mais si ou même ou tant trop, essayer contacter ou.
But I will definitely take back the issue of people waiting and then try to find out what's going on.
All right. Question pour Maclum te posée. On connaît ou te gen te di moun yo li, mais il ta bon pour ta poser li parce que connaît te dans les nan.
But get up poser lui. Yeah.
Okay.
Répéter lui.
So poser question encore pour Maclum.
Yeah, question 1, il y a un monde qui entre ici sur I-94. Est-ce qu'ils sont obligations pour le faire asile avant I-94 expire?
Okay, so someone who enters the United States with an I-94, is it necessary for them to file for asylum before the I-94 expires?
Well, filing for asylum is not based on the date of your I-94, but if you are claiming asylum, you need to file within 1 year of your arrival.
So, ça file pour asile pas de rapport avec date I-94, mais ou gen 1 an avec date I-94 pour file pour asile. Si ça fait sens.
You can file for asylum if you've been here longer than a year, but then again, you have to write like a letter explaining what was the delay and why you were delayed.
Ou capable file asile là après 1 an, si ou ta là pour plus que 1 an, mais faut ta expliquer pour qui ça ou tant tout temps ça pour te appliquer pour asile là.
Bonsoir tout le monde. Question, j'ai deux questions. Première question, est-ce que y a un monde qui a disability capable d'appliquer comme supporter pour un bénéficiaire en Haïti?
Can someone who is on disability or who is disabled file for someone in Haiti? Can they be a supporter to a beneficiary?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Like I said, it's basically any status in the U.S. U.S. citizen, green card holder, TPS holder, DACA holder, they can file. We're not looking at their disability. We're just looking at whether they have the financial means to support somebody.
So ça y a checké c'est si ou qualifié financièrement. So yo pas checker comme si sous coco B sous pas ka travail mais c'est affaire essayer étape financière y a plus garder.
OK.
And again, if they
papier légal.
and again, if they're unable to do it individually, but they could do it as a group, maybe that one person doesn't have enough finances, but if they join with 3 or 4 of their friends, you can do it as a group too.
Et yo ka toujours faire comme un groupe tout et pas un seul monde qui.
OK, merci.
I'm sorry, just one more thing. Same thing with, I didn't mention this in the PowerPoint, I should have. Same thing with organizations. So if you have a church that wants to support beneficiaries, the church itself can't be the supporter. It has to be an individual, but that individual can put on the application, my church is helping with this, and list the information on the church.
So c'est même genre pour une organisation. So yon l'église capable aider yon supporter. Ça veut dire mais l'église n'a pas qu'à yon supporter si ça fait sens. Ça veut dire si on t'as supposé gon moun dans l'église là, donc si on dans l'église là, c'est ou même cap supporter mais ou mettre l'église comme yon moun cap aider avec moun mais l'église n'a pas qu'à supporter ça. Il est capable aider supporter.
Pour finir, deuxième question, moi j'ai yon case un moun en Haïti, il appliqué pour lui. Li fait un screenshot, li voye montre, li mette, li download CBP1 et puis il mette receipt number, li montre que yo a 75%. So moi besoin connaître qui vérité qui gagne dans ça. Li vle montre que 75% yo nan kala lap travail.
Okay, so for the someone who has filed the application in Haiti, so the beneficiary, they have screenshotted their portion of it, and they filed, and then it says 75% loading. Yeah, pre-approved. So what's going on with that?
Does that mean?
What does that mean? Is that what is the truth in that?
What is 75% loading? I'm not.
Of the progress.
The process of the application.
The process of the application, the CBP1.
This is another question I'm going to have to take back because this CB, unfortunately, as I mentioned earlier, this is 2 different agencies. The mobile one application is CBP. That's not my agency, so I'm not sure what that 75% is, but it's a good question and I'll ask them.
Yeah, so lui-même il pas gain réponse pour question ça, mais il va poser superviseur.
OK, on nous retourne s'il vous plaît pour capable écrire. Songez ça te dit, c'est écrire la écrit et puis la porter à les bail. Ça pas bon du tout ça. OK, c'est écrire la écrit note. Oh, you think that good. La écrit note et puis la porter by superviseur pour capable pour les qui question que tu posées pour avec les ba nous réponse. Ça make sense. All right? All right. Kounya nous praler ou ba nous question là. Non, c'est pourtant, moi, il y a un monde qui pose des questions, qui campe, qui l'on je dois. So,
Question femme.
OK, pour moi.
Question femme. Question pas moi.
OK. Ouais.
Moi, question pas moi. M'a demandé est-ce que si on si on petit, on forme un parent qui suit fille pour lui, qui vient combien de temps qui va chambre est-ce que il va participer dans le programme, est-ce que ça va pas un problème? Et puis tout, si bon petit monde qui a 8 ans, je le vois, est-ce que son papier pour lui à part ou est-ce qu'on peut aller en bas application?
So if a person has a child who has been filed for but hasn't received any confirmation or anything, can they be filed for under this program? And if they have an 8-year-old child, is there a separate application for them to do? So qui ça yote fil pour lui? Yeah. Okay, so they filed for residency. So they haven't been approved for residency. So can they file for this program?
So the supporter here has filed for residency.
So they filed for residency for their child.
For a child. And
their
they want to bring
child-
their child.
Yes, and their child has an 8-year-old. So can they file under this program? if they filed for residency?
They can file for the child, but the problem in that situation, I'm guessing, is the child cannot come to the United States on their own. So they have to travel with either their parent or a legal guardian. So that's going to be the problem there. How do they get to the United States?
There's two people. So say she has a daughter.
Mm-hmm.
So her daughter has a daughter. So she filed for residency for her daughter.
Okay.
No response has been made yet. So her daughter has an 8-year-old. So
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yes.
So the daughter's still in Haiti with her. Oh, okay, got it. I'm thick, but I got it. Yes, yes. So they can still file just because they have a application in the works for residency doesn't mean they can't file for this. So yes, she can file for her daughter and her granddaughter to come.
But also, yes, it's 2 different applications.
Yeah, that's a general rule of thumb with all our applications, because this happens with TPS. People are like, well, I don't want to file for TPS because I have an asylum application in the works. You can file for both. One application doesn't cancel out the other.
How does it affect that though? How does it affect the residency?
Well, it wouldn't affect the residency because it's a completely separate matter. So if they were granted, if they were accepted through this program, she would come to the United States, she would be paroled in, and then hopefully during that time, instead of her having to renew her parole, the residency would get approved in that time. Yeah.
Si ta gen tan veni si an pa program sa, et puis tout yo accepte application résidence lan, ça veut dire que you ne pas cancel lot. So c'est pas un mauvais bagage lié sous ta appliqué pour si mon nan pas program ça. You pas de rapport avec lot.
And also in that case, you said she filed for residency and they're waiting. I'm assuming they're waiting for the visa to be released. Is that what they're waiting for?
So qui pense que vous t'ai appliqué pour une résidence? Est-ce que c'est visa ou aptan? Everything. So you
Because there is the program called the Haitian Family Reunification Program, where if you filed for a visa for your relative who's waiting in Haiti, if the I-130 has been approved, I am the mother, this is my daughter in Haiti. If that's been approved, she doesn't have to wait for the visa to become available. She can come to the United States and she can wait for the visa to become available on that program. So it's essentially the same thing. So again, I don't know your situation, but if the I-130, the visa petition, has been approved, she should be able to come to the United States now and just wait here in the United States. Yeah.
Bonsoir. Bonsoir. Ok, nous avons qui m'ont posé une question ça. Ok. Depuis août 2021, du même avec madame, il doit appliquer le TPS. Madame a joint le TPS là. Et jusqu'à présent, nous avons rejoint le TPS là. Qui ça qui peut passer? Qui j'aime pas vous dire?
Okay, so he has a friend who asked this question. The friend and his wife has filed for TPS. The wife since August of 2021. So the wife has received an approval, but for himself, he hasn't. So he has received his, but the wife has not. And this is since August 2021.
So wait, he received his and she hasn't.
Yes.
Has she at least got her fingerprints yet?
Yes, everything is done, just not the card. Work authorization. Okay, so the work authorization card.
So she received notice that her TPS was granted.
She never received a TPS form. She's filed for it. Everything is done as far as fingerprint.
Yo demandé pour démontrer preuve que tu es dans le pays depuis avant juillet, avant 7 juillet 2021.
So they asked for proof that she was here before the 7th of July 2021.
Yo voyez la lettre.
They sent her away. They received it. They sent the tracking number, but nothing after that. So no response.
Yeah, in that situation, again, you're going to have to reach out to the contact center and initiate an inquiry and ask them to look into it.
So ça c'est une caractéristique pour ça pour demander à l'immigration, nous cherchons ça pour poser l'immigration question. So contacter eux pour demander question ça.
Yeah.
All right, analyse 7. Bon Dieu bénisse. Nico la bataille. Nico la bataille.
Question bien, est-ce que on peut passer par organisation, il a fait CPS, en même temps qu'à faire asile. Est-ce que ça va
Organisation.
Organisation en frontière.
Okay, so can someone who got here through the frontier organization? That's good job.
Est-ce que une carte CPS avec un affaire asile, est-ce que il va remonter?
Okay, so the person who got here through the frontier, can they file for asylum and for TPS at the same time?
Yes, you can.
All right, tale. Moi, c'est moun qui pose des questions yo, moun qui te getan l'avant, c'est yo m'apprend. Allez, c'est là ici. Venez, c'est
And not to interrupt, I just wanted to follow because one of the questions jogged my memory. I didn't cover this in the presentation, but in terms of like legal assistance, if you feel that you need to get help on an application or help on an issue, don't forget your local nonprofits. A lot of people rush out to an immigration attorney the first thing and they pay the big bucks. But a lot of organizations, especially in the Tampa, St. Pete area, have attorneys on staff and they deal with immigration issues all the time. And they won't charge you the fees that private attorneys will. It'll either be free or it'll be a nominal fee. But in the Tampa, St. Pete area, like the biggest ones are Church World All Services, Lutheran Services, Catholic Charities, and you don't have to be Catholic or Lutheran to go to them. I mean, they deal with immigration issues all the time. But I always tell people, if you think you need assistance, probably step one, go there first to help them assess the situation. And if they can't help you, at least they can point you in the direction of a reputable attorney.
Okay, so yo pa ka pa touche nan prezentasyon nan, se sou ta bezwen ed legal, il di kon sa, gen moun ki kouye ale jwen avokat pou kap chaje ou an pe kwa, men pa liye charite yo, gen l'Eglise Katolik, l'Eglise ki kapab ede yo pou mwen skor posi pou gratis. So pa liye yo, yo gen avokat kap te la ba apret yo, ki ka pou men ed ki avokat wap pe yo.
analyse 7. Bon Dieu bénisse.
Une question comme ça, si on il y a une pièce là, il va y avoir longtemps, vous avez dit il va remplir le travail sous lui, il fait une pièce sur le travail là, il va remplir le travail sous lui, et puis il demande encore, les autres qui sont appliqués pour le monde à Haïti, s'il va remplir le temps de travail sur cette pièce là, s'il va gagner comme on dit ça, taxe li, si vous avez taxe là, avec des filles, on va laisser filles de votre gagner, pas de taxe au mandé, et puis si il y a un compte qui va avoir un nombre de quantité de temps, est-ce qu'il est capable d'appliquer pour mon Haïti? Merci.
Okay, so her question is for someone who has TPS, but they haven't been here for that long of a time, and they haven't worked for the amount of time, enough time to receive a W-2, like a tax form. Can they file as a supporter for someone, and also, yeah, okay, so if they have not filed their taxes yet, is that an issue? Like, how can they go about it? Are they able to file as a supporter?
Well, one, yeah, you can file even if you don't have your W-2.
And they haven't had their, I guess, bank account for as long as you have that, I guess, that year. A lot of
Right.
people
Well, so the first answer is yes, you can file, but then the second answer is, as you probably guessed, it could be a potential headache or problem because we're looking at your finances to determine, and if you don't have, right, and if you don't have evidence of your finances, chances are they'll end up denying it.
So yes, so ça veut dire, non, vous ne pouvez pas passer évidence.
No, sure.
But wouldn't that be a
I'm
great
gonna have a
case
seat.
of-
Sorry.
Wouldn't that be a great case of actually having someone like make a group with someone?
Yep.
So what that a fait en groupe avec like plusieurs monde, et puis, but they wouldn't put that person as the sole.
Oh, good question. I mean, I probably personally wouldn't, but there's no rule that says, you know, I mean, if you're applying as a group, they're not going to deny the application because one person doesn't have access. They're going to look at the whole group. So,
So ça veut dire so ça qu'a fait, c'est ou appliquer pour mon nan comme yon même monde qui peut travailler sur TPS assez, pas t'appeler comme supporter tête. Ça veut dire t'appeler l'autre monde là plutôt que monde ça comme yon aide.
All right. Gen question qui sur Facebook. Moi gen une question qui sur Facebook. Moun sa Brésil. Li pose question li dit si on moun gen de Brésil et puis li gen résidence Brésil, est-ce que yon parent qui ici capable appliquer pour lui dans programme ça qui gen qui c'est programme Biden.
Okay, this is a question from Facebook. This person is from Brazil. They live in Brazil. They have their Brazilian residence. Can their parents who are in the U.S. file for them under this program?
well, one, they can file, but two, I don't think they're going to be accepted. And just let me double check this. This came up the other day. I think if you're a dual national, you're not going to be accepted under this program. But give me 1 second and I'll double check it.
OK. Ballon titan pour les OK, ballon titan pour le capable faire recherche pour le ba nos réponses. Songez c'est pour aller là nous doit ba tout titan qui gagne pour le chercher écrit whatever ça doit faire. Yon façon nous même pour nous ka gagner yon vraie information, OK?
Comme nous connaissons ici pas d'accord de nationalité. So ça veut dire est-ce que moun nan c'est une résidence brésilienne and c'est nationalité haïtienne.
Okay, here we go.
Qualifié pour ça. Vous devez pas faire pour les mais vous devez pas qualifier.
Okay. So this is the official language. An individual is ineligible to be considered for parole under this process if that person is a dual national or permanent resident of or holds refugee status in another country. So if they've got a legal status in Brazil, then no, they're not going to.
Moun nan qui gen statut illégal pour brésilien, il va éligible pour ça parce que ici pas d'accord.
OK. So nous avons des réponses moun Brésil là, moi assuré que vous avez des réponses souvent. Quand y a une autre question. Moun a posé question li dit si on moun li gen TPS, si on moun gen résidence Brésil ou bien Chili et puis li choisi pour venir ici. Li juste prend route là et puis venir ici. Est-ce que moun ça a ka résider?
So if someone who is a Brazilian resident or a Chilean resident, like they have their residency there, but they decide to take the road and come to America, can they file for this program? No, mun ne pa kapab.
OK, kounya na pour l'autre question qui dans salle là. Non qui parce que n'a parlé off and on, OK guys? Ouais, parce qu'il faut que li faire pour nous prendre moun qui a écouté nous tout qui participer. OK, il y a un moun qui derrière, dame qui avec micro on allez, question là. Bonsoir.
Okay, so the question is for TPS. Since 2021, this person filed for TPS, but they haven't received a response.
So what can they do?
2021?
21.
Yeah, this is another case where you're going to have to reach out to us to find an answer. So call the customer contact center and ask to initiate an inquiry, a case status.
Ça c'est une cas que l'État peut expliquer pour essayer de contacter le gouvernement, essayer de contacter l'immigration.
OK. Question. Moun qui te pose question avant, ou pas qu'à poser jusqu'à ce que l'autre monde qui fin prend parce qu'il faut que nous fassions, right? L'autre monde fin poser question pour nous retourner à nous-mêmes, OK? OK, on allait. Derrière, t'es qui au monde derrière qui te levé non Yannick. On allait.
Oui, l'idée sorti tout à l'heure que monde qui entre dans le programme 10 ans que nous savons pas qu'à éligible pour TPS. Mais après 10 ans, il faut que nous sachions réappliquer encore. Ça me besoin de connaître comment nous savons réappliquer encore. Si nous défendons le pays, est-ce que c'est Haïti pour réappliquer ou bien est-ce que la réappliquer dans le pays?
Good job.
Okay, so we've already established that the people who come under this program, they're not eligible to file for TPS, but they are eligible to reapply for. They are available. They are eligible to file for TPS, right?
Well, technically, if someone came to the United States under this program, they wouldn't need TPS because it's a different thing. But they could file for TPS as long as they met the TPS requirements. But I think someone coming in now, once they get here, they're not going to be eligible because there's certain dates that you had to have been in the country to be eligible for TPS. TPS is for people who are already here. This program is for people who are in Haiti and want to come here, if that makes sense.
Okay, so yeah, so so the second part of his question was for the people who, like you said, aren't eligible to file for TPS, but they are eligible to refile for the 2 years that they are here. How is that process? Like, how does that go about? Do they return to Haiti, then refile again?
After 2 years.
Or
Based on past practice, they're not going to have to return to Haiti. They're going to, once it gets too close to the end of the 2 years, USCIS will send out a re-registration notice like they do with TPS. Yeah.
Okay, so you're pas besoin de retourner à Haïti. Il y a pas de notification qui date là pour l'expirer et pour réappliquer. So you're pas besoin de retourner à Haïti.
Okay.
One thing we didn't talk about, but maybe it didn't come up in anyone's head or whatever, but plus just remember when someone is paroled into the country, unfortunately, if you have to travel back, it's parole. So if you leave the country and you're on parole, your parole status ends. So that's something to consider too.
Okay. Good job.
Ça veut dire si vous gagnez, on va parler si vous gagnez une date comme si que vous mettez pour être ici, sous ta quitté ici, avant date que vous mettez ou pas tourner, ou voyager ou pas tourner, il finit.
OK, gon l'autre question, mon qui avec Mario. Yeah, there you go. Portez micro à baler moi s'il vous plaît. Et moi suivre mon yo avant, les moun qui lève mais l'avant il me prend, al prendre moi s'il vous plaît. Me suivre mon yo ça fait j'aime rester sous mon yo. Après ça y a tourner venir nous frère. Bonsoir.
So I filed for TPS in 2021. I was approved, and I received the TPS card, but not a work authorization card. Why?
TPS card?
It's just like the card. They give you a
work
card.
authorization card.
Can someone?
Right. The card is your work authorization card, right?
After it expired, why did they?
Oh, okay. So you got the card, but then it expired. Is that what?
She got it the same day it expired. She got it the same day it expired. That makes. Oh, that's it.
Yeah,
You need to go back and.
That's a personal peeve of mine. Because they're taking so long with these employment authorization cards. By the time people get them, it's expired.
And I think you need to go back.
Again, you can reach out to the customer contact center and ask them to. It's called. I keep on saying it, but that's the word you want to use. Inquiry. Initiate an inquiry, and hopefully they can reissue one with a valid date. But yeah, what's the word? It's a systemic issue. You're not alone. This is a big issue that we need to fix. But right now, at the local level, right, we are reporting it to them and saying you have to fix this. But yeah, it's happening all across the United States. People are getting their cards either late or expired.
Okay, but the other question they asked, should they pay again? Because they said it expired and they already paid $420 for this. Should they pay again or no?
No, I wouldn't do that. The first step that I would do is contact the contact center and see if it can be resolved that way. And also, as I mentioned earlier, maybe go to like Catholic Charities or Lutheran Services to see if there's something on their end that they can do to advocate for you to get the situation changed.
So, pour première question TPS, il dit comme ça, essayez de contacter immigration et dire gagner un bagage pour cliquer sur, par exemple, inquiry pour demander et il dit tout, essayez de joindre une charité catholique pour voir si vous avez un bagage que vous avez fait dans bon payo. Donc si
May I ask, they gave you the card which expired, but did they also give you what's called an extension letter? Did they happen to send that to you at all?
Okay, but TPS on 4 liye quand même. Il y a bon 4 là. Okay. All right, hold on. Okay. Just supposed to get some to get them. But it's the same thing. TPS
So when you get your TPS, it gives you a paper that says you've been approved for TPS.
I understand what you're trying to say, but she doesn't get the card at all. So I'm trying to fix it and correct it for him so he understands exactly what she's trying to do. Because obviously when you get to your, les moun jeune kat travail là, c'est li te gen TPS déjà, yo pas pral vo on 4 qui monte en TPS ou juste li juste renouveler automatiquement, c'est ça qu'on fait. C'est quoi ça on fait l'année ça. Don't the TPS is automatically renewing? Hold on a second. I'm just asking questions, please. I'm asking questions. I'm asking like a random question just like everybody would ask, okay? So the question they ask, if the TPS, okay, they send the TPS to them, right? All right. They sent the employment authorization card with it because obviously if they doesn't have a TPS, they don't give them the employment authorization card because I've seen that happen. All right, but now, since it's expired, they can't do anything with it. So what would they do? Would that be already automatically renewed or what happened with that TPS?
Well, TPS isn't automatically renewed. Right. When we extend it, you still have to, every 2 years, you have to go through the process. They're kind of in a nightmare limbo situation because, I mean, theoretically, they have the work authorization until TPS expires, whatever the expiration date is. But getting evidence of that, if we screwed up on our end or we didn't give you the card or whatever, it's gonna be difficult.
But
you're gonna have to. Step one again, and I send everyone back here, but that's the way they've set it up right now, is you're going to have to contact the customer contact center and attempt to resolve it through there.
Should they pay it again? That's the question. Should they have to send another, money order, start all over again? So should they pay it again for it? Because they already paid for it.
I wouldn't do that until they get a resolution on the first issue.
Okay. Nous qui ça on veut faire pour nous avec mon mayo. Pas nous pas besoin de voir sous moi. Juste voulais aider nous dans ce sens ça pour nous connaître. OK, qui ça mon a doit faire s'il t'a gagné une situation comme ça qui t'est arrivé devant, OK? Now, next question on prend premier compte parce que nous pas caquer bonnet pour même moi poser à l'aide.
So for someone, she has someone who filed for asylum for basically 8 months with no response. Should they reapply for it, or is this another case of going?
Oh no! And that's I mean in the world of asylum, 8 months is nothing.
That's right.
Asylum applications, I mean, we're backed up on all applications. We're working through them, but asylum has always been backed up, and it's even more backed up. They probably, if someone applies for asylum right now, they could be waiting 4 or 5 years before they even get into a hearing. So, yeah, no, you don't.
Okay, mun ka presse yo.
Right, you don't.
Bon titan.
That's the bad news. The good news is they should, while they're waiting.
Okay, this part is very, very important for the people. They ask you to use your mic, put it closer to your mouth so they can.
Oh,
the
I'm
people
sorry.
on Facebook.
Yeah, okay. sorry about that. But yeah, no, she doesn't need. They don't need to reapply. They just, unfortunately, they have to wait. 8 months waiting for asylum is nothing. If you haven't heard anything on your asylum application in like a year and a half, that's when you need to reach out. But I would say minimum year and a half before they receive anything, communication.
Et puis, il dit, moun kon fait n'importe 4 ans. Ou ka fait n'importe 4 ans, rete 4-5 ans, ou toujours attendre, ok? All right, mais c'est, on a les fois. Oh, j'en voulais.
Okay, I got 2 questions.
Okay.
First, American law said you get 10 years if you're a U.S. citizen to file for your brother or sister. I filed since 2008, and my brother is still not here. So, what you think happened?
2008, my gosh, that's 15 years. You're right. The minimum wait for a brother or sister is 10 years, but we're well over 10 years now. You need to reach out and check. The first place you should go before you even try to get on the phone with anybody is visas are controlled by the Department of State, which is a different federal organization. You have to check their visa bulletin. If you haven't been already. But when you filed your application for your brother or sister, they probably approved the application, but they're waiting for a visa to be released, and it takes minimum 10 years for brothers or sisters. What you have to do is you have to check the visa bulletin every month to see if your date has been released. So the easiest thing to do is just Google visa bulletin, and that will bring you up to the Department of State page that will show you whether the visa has been released. If the visa has been released, then you can go ahead and continue the process. You can file the adjustment, the application for adjustment of status. She can do step 2, but you need to find out whether the visa has been released yet.
Okay, second question is for 134A. A household that have mother and father, or husband and wife, they both get family in Haiti, but one filed for 2 individuals, the other one filed for 3 under the same income. Will you think they're going to get approval?
Again, the disclaimer is everything's a case by case, but yeah, there's no rule that says multiple family members can't file for different people. So yeah, they can file, and as long as their finances are acceptable, yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't want to cut it short, but I have to leave at 6, so we have 15 minutes.
Ok, li déjà dit, li pas fait plus que 6 heures là. Pour 6 heures arrivé, la couper toute question et puis il prale. Ok, so nous, pour nous pas dire que ça, ou pour que ça fait ça. Oh, just a second. They're so excited. They say, when will you come back?
When are you coming back?
Oh, I come back. I go wherever I'm invited. So if you want to invite me,
it's gonna be me. So it's gonna be me, guys. It's gonna be me. So, ok, nous avons une question. Comme nous avons mis quoi dans déjà, on allez. Après ça, on a pas mal de passé. Sorry, madame passé. Bonsoir tout le monde. Et puis, nous ne pouvons pas garder micro, pas garder micro, nous remettre l'autre micro, s'il vous plaît, parce que je suis dans des zones. Allez, on va camper contre monde qui pose des questions et puis prendre le micro à la main. OK, s'il vous plaît? Faites ça pour moi. Merci en pile. All right, go ahead.
Bonsoir.
Bonsoir.
Question moyenne, c'est si on t'a filazé et pour travailler dans une compagnie comme professionnel, comment il y a des résidences pour ce travail?
If you file for asylum and you work at a company that wants to file for you to become a resident, will that be a problem? Would that be able to do it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so, again, going back to, you can, one application doesn't cancel out the other. So you can file for asylum, but in the meantime, if your employer wants to sponsor you and go that route, they can do that too. So it would just be a race to whichever one got approved first, which probably would be the employer before asylum.
Yeah, vous pouvez faire plusieurs applications, une pas de rapport avec l'autre, n'importe ça qui accepte là. Mais compagnie est capable de faire ça, il est capable de faire ça pour.
OK, madame Pasteur, on allait. N'a pas aller rapide parce que nous avons seulement 15 minutes devant nous. On allait. Portez le micro à madame Pasteur, moi, s'il vous plaît. Bah là, il micro. Non, micro pour les madame Pasteur. On bon porte pas d'abord.
OK. Question pas maintenant. L'homme file pour un monde. Mon fin rentrer ici. L'elle fin rentrer ici pour la caille moi. Est-ce que moi même et tout ça a besoin sous compte moi ou bien gouvernement a aidé?
Okay, so if I file for someone and they entered the US,
OK, hold on mes amis, pas parler pour nous attendre des réponses là parce que ça c'est belle question on allez.
If I file for someone and they were approved to enter the US and they are here, is everything that corresponds to them, does it all fall on me, or will the government provide any aid or assistance?
Or some.
Good question.
Yes. Write it down. That's what I want.
I have to be careful with what I say if I'm being recorded. Theoretically, or you're signing a contract, so you are responsible for that person. So you're responsible to help them with housing, everything.
En théorie, c'est un contrat aussi pour aider les gens. Ça veut dire caille, machine, n'importe ça que tu as besoin, c'est sur pour tomber.
However, having said that, and I think I can say this because it's been in print, it's been in the news. This is not an enforceable contract. So, I hate saying this. If someone files an application and is a supporter, but then the person they're supporting comes to the United States and they don't support them, no one's coming after the supporter. It's basically.
Good answer.
I'm probably gonna get in trouble for saying that, but that's the way it's written, and it's not a really.
Okay.
But theoretically, no, they're not supposed to be applying for any kind of government aid or anything like that. But with Haitians, that's going to be different because with Haitians and Cubans, there's services set up in place through the refugee services that all Haitians and all Cubans have a right to access. So I don't want to say too much because it's outside my area of expertise. Again, this is probably a question better asked to like Catholic Charities or Lutheran Services because they deal with the granting of like benefits to assist people.
Okay.
It's kind of a non-answer, and I'm sorry, but that's the.
Catholique charité pour bagaille ça. OK. Gain une allégation que je voulais faire par rapport à la question à la pasteur. Je reconnais un monde qui a appliqué pour 10 personnes.
So he knows someone who applied for 10 people.
Et si 10 personnes sont qualifiées,
if those 10 people qualify,
et si au malade, est-ce que c'est lui-même qui prend health insurance pour
assurance de santé pour 10 moun sa yo. C'est parce que si yo malade faut que les mène au kay docteur.
If they were to fall ill, does the issue of health insurance fall on her for all 10 people?
Et deuxième question m'a posée.
Secondly,
et puisque moun yo vini, c'est un programme pour 2 ans.
saying that the people are qualified and they come here, it's a program for 2 years.
Comment, et si on vient avec petit monde, jeune monde, comment il a fait à l'école, comment il a fait à l'université?
If they come with little, with children that are of school age, in college and stuff, how is it possible for them to attend school?
Parce que moi-même, là, j'ai un TPS.
Because when he had TPS, when he himself had TPS, he went to study.
Il n'y a pas de bon grant.
And they did not give him grants.
Est-ce que jeune monde ça y a prêté sans yo parler dans collège?
Or are those young people going to stay without attending school? Like, are they?
A good question. It depends on their age. If they're elementary and high school, there's not a problem because all children can go to school under 18. It's the college age students that are going to have a problem because when they're here, they have to pay everything in their own. They have to pay everything on their own because they're not a U.S. citizen and they're not a permanent resident. So there's no mechanism for them to get grants. So they could get private scholarships maybe or anything, but they're not going to get.
OK,
not even private.
Alors c'est ça yo nous besoin connaître. Nous besoin connaître tout ça yo pour nous connaître exactement qui ça programme là. Pas ni courir venir ou te docteur ou qu'on va venir apprendre docteur encore y a payer pour non. Pas ni connaître que ou sont ingénieur ou sont ingénieur m'a venir non, c'est pour venir connaître que ça yo pas là pour ou bien ou a bien l'argent dans poche pour payer pour aller apprendre, OK?
Ça veut dire pour ti moun petit yo capable aller à l'école parce que l'école pour ti moun qui arrive jusqu'à high school c'est gratis lié. So ti moun petit yo capable mais pour moun qui va dans collège yo pas bien moyen comme si yo jouer comme gouvernement pour aider.
And then the question about health insurance, again, I hope I didn't get in trouble, but it's the truth. If you're the financial supporter, but if someone comes here and they get sick, no one can slap you with a bill because it's not an enforceable contract.
Okay, alors.
I'm gonna get an email tomorrow. Why are you saying this? But that's
les parler concernant private loan pour tout le monde qui peut aller dans. You can prendre private loan do. You can prendre private loan.
Okay, so for the private loan,
yeah,
regarding the private loan.
I'm sorry.
Mais you demandé en pile requirements pour monde qui prend private loan.
So regarding the private loans, there are a lot of rules and regulations. They ask for a lot of stuff.
Par exemple, si parent gen 4 petits monde qui prend dans collège.
Like for example, if a parent has 4 children who are going to college.
Comment on peut faire private loan pour 4 petits monde?
How are they going to be able to take a private loan for 4 children?
Et je pense que si programme non, si y a pas encouragé un programme comme ça,
and he thinks that if they're encouraging a program like this,
faut qu'ils encouragent pour l'éducation tout.
They must, encourage it for education also.
M't'a écrit ça.
You want to see it right this?
Right
now. Discuter avec un boss.
You're preaching to the choir, but.
Allez, dame ça dépose des questions avant. Non, il va où non? Oh, et pour lui? Allez, pose des questions là.
Bonsoir.
Wait. Pas même faut qu'il regarde là. Pas même mon seconde. Wait. All right, you done? Okay, now go ahead.
Bonsoir.
Is this me?
I don't know.
All right, go ahead.
Est-ce qu'il est probable pour moi faire asile avec famille?
My question is, I'm eligible for TPS. Is it probable for me to file for asylum? Oui.
Yeah. You can.
All right. Il pas là. Et ça que là, on vient en retard pas bon. OK, on allez. Kounya nous une question. Gon vous amis derrière net. Votre micro à bali moi s'il vous plaît. Mayo rouge. Rouge grenade. On allez. OK. And do you look your time what time is it?
Bonsoir.
Bonsoir frère.
Et question pas maintenant. Bon, n'a pas un petit passage pour m'expliquer nous capable parce que moi j'ai deux petites, j'ai une qui a 5 ans qui fait Chili, l'autre la fait ici. Ouais. OK. Ouais, moi j'ai deux petites, une fait Chili, une fait ici. Les mal fait tramiter pour ça qui fait et Chilia. Ah OK. Ouais, m'a parlé très rapide. Les mal fait tramiter pour ça qui fait chilien. Yo dit que par rapport que l'État pas entré dans l'immigration, yo te bali, li te gen statut, gen quelques privilèges, li pas jouir. Yo dit faut que li te haïtienne ou bien li te fait ici. Moi demande est-ce que gon possibilité pour m'ta aller demander un papier pour me déclarer comme haïtienne et si ça possible. Est-ce que si je fais tramiter pour asile, est-ce que je peux mettre papier que je bon pour lui?
Okay, so I have 2 children. One was born in Chile, one here. For the one that was born in Chile, I guess they're not eligible for some benefits. They said that they're either supposed to be born here or born in Haiti. So is there something that can be done because it's his child for them to, I guess, benefit from? Est-ce que c'est programme ça?
No, pour TPS ou bien asile.
Okay, so is there something that they can do for them to qualify for TPS or asylum? Because it's his child, though the child was born in Chile.
Let's see if I can help you out.
Well, I mean, they could apply for either TPS or asylum if they qualify. If they meet the dates of TPS, they could apply for TPS, or, I mean, theoretically asylum. Without knowing the specifics of your background, but I mean, there's no bar against them filing. But in terms of like, I mean, it seems like you're more interested in the benefit side, and unfortunately, that's not. I'm with immigration. I'm not with like the health and human services or whatever. Again, this might be a question you might want to go to like Catholic Charities or Lutheran Services because they deal with the refugee and asylum services, and they can give you a better sense of how to navigate that system. Because unfortunately, I have no expertise or knowledge of like Medicare, Medicaid, SNAP, and all that. But in terms of applying for TPS and asylum, yeah, if they meet the requirements, anybody can file for TPS or asylum.
Okay, let me translate. Hold on. This is what he said. One of the child born in Chile, one here. Okay, the one in Chile, they said just because he's from Chile, he's not qualified for nothing. But the one who born here is qualified. So now the question he asked, what could he done to have a paperwork for that child or something for that child? It's not just like paperwork, like let's say Medicaid or let's say TPS, whatever. They just denied him of everything. What can he do for that child?
Are you a permanent resident? Do you have your green card or no?
No,
TPS. Well, did you?
So he doesn't have nothing at all.
Oh.
But he has one child. But he has one child born here. That child got everything, but the other one doesn't. So now he's stuck. He doesn't know what to do.
Yeah. Again, I wish I could answer, but it's not my area because I don't know anything about benefits because we're immigration. I go to Catholic Charities or go to Lutheran Services and ask to talk to somebody because they know how to navigate medical benefits and things like that.
Unfortunately, pour nos filles, nous avons obligé de là, nous ne pouvons pas poser question encore parce que nous sommes 4 heures, nous venons en retard, nous ne pouvons pas continuer. Nous ne pouvons pas continuer avec les réponses parce que le temps est 10 minutes à 6 heures. Nous avons aimé la tourner encore pour le tourner encore. Vous ne savez pas nous qui est là, ok? Nous commencer. What time is it? 6 o'clock, right? All right, Esther, can you please bring my thing on? I just want to say thank you to you. I just tell everyone, you know, unfortunately we cannot continue with the questions. So next time you're coming back, you know, you can answer more questions, but we have to stop. Because
Okay,
we have a
no
time
problem.
to start and time to finish. So right now, we're going to present you something and to say thank you for coming in. And
Well, thank you for having me. And always, if you have more questions, I mean, I'm happy to come back whenever you want me. But in the meantime, while you're planning a date, you can give questions to you and just pass them on to me, and I can research them. Because if I can't answer them, I can find somebody who can.
Right. Okay. I know one person here had one more questions, but I'm gonna wait until 5. So Esther, you wanna come? And thank you, Antonia, for translating for me. And also,
Yes, thank you.
I just want you to stand.
Okay.
Everyone, stand up, please, and clap.
Thanks.
Alright, thank you so much. Ok, nous besoin tout le monde qui fait partie Haitian Organisation Network Plus avancer devant pour nous, s'il vous plaît. I just want you to meet all the Haitian organization people there, so you know, you be aware of why. And then, non, Haitian Organisation Network Plus, nous allons présenter un petit bagage qui est pour encourager parce que vous venez là, ok? My party girl, I know you don't understand, but hey, you're almost Haitian right now.
Okay, so this is from the people who are part of the Haitian Organization Network Plus. This is something they would like to present to you as a form of thanks for being here and for taking the time out of your day.
So sweet.
To assist us.
All right. Non, Haitian Organisation Network Plus, et dans toute l'église qui n'entend pas, et dans toute communauté haïtienne qui n'entend pas, nous voulons présenter au plaque ça, pour aller montrer superviseur travail qu'on fait, nous vraiment apprécier. Basically, I'm sure you know how to read English. I don't have to read it for you.
In the name of the Haitian Organization Network Plus, in the name of all the churches of Tampa and the Haitian community, we would like to present you this plaque so that you can show your supervisor that we here, the Haitian community, appreciates what you have, what you've come to do for us.
Oh.
And we appreciate you.
Thank you so much. That's a big honor. Thank you. Thank you.
Ok, non, Haitian Organisation Network Plus, ça seulement montrer que nous pas de mots pour nous apprécier, pour nous dire merci, parce que vous venez là. Et pour le talent que vous développez, vous venez là dans la communauté haïtienne, nous tout bas un verset biblique là-dedans, qui sortit dans 1 Corinthiens chapitre 3, verset 23. Tout ça fait dans nos beaux dieux, pour Dieu capable de
Basically, what's on the plaque.
Thank you. That's very sweet. And on behalf of USCIS Tampa District, I accept this. Thank you. Thank you.
We accept
Bon, avant.
Oh, wow. The people just need you to come back so bad. They want to know what to date immediately.
That's up to you guys. I can come whenever you want.
C'est pour nous dire que il répond à pile questions et Eltonia traduit pour nous. Il répond à pile questions. Eltonia. Parlez pour nous.
You've answered a lot of questions for us.
Et questions yo très satisfaisantes.
The questions have been the answers have been very satisfactory.
Et nous remet réponse yo.
And we love the responses.
Mais nous avons pile l'autre monde qui dans la salle là.